Back at the hatchery today, and you can see Pauson's in the distance. He's just marking the boundary for us. So that's that point, and then the other points here, and then everything to the left of that is the new hatchery. I'm here with Ahmed. Say hi, Ahmed. My name's Tim. We're out here in Uganda, Rukungiri, and we're just looking at a new hatchery site. We've got a few problems, so let me just talk you through those. To overcome the challenges we're having, we've got Pauson, who's helping us out with the neighbour's ponds. So we've got this pond where Ahmed's standing over there. There's one in front of him and one behind him, which have also been drained. And we're going to use these for now as our site, because what we've found is we've basically got issues with it's just going to take us forever to dig the ponds that we need. So meanwhile, the neighbour who owns these 3 ponds has agreed a very good rate on these to rent them, like really cheap. Because for him, he can't do anything with them, but we can use them. So whilst we're waiting for those hatchery ponds to be constructed, we can rent these, start what we need to do because we're backlogged, and start the process. So that's the sort of first challenge we need to overcome, is making sure we've got access to ponds. So we've managed to solve that one thanks to Pauson. You can see we've drained them, but they're not really that well constructed. If you look at the banks, there's no sacks, which is what you would do. The inlet, there's no inlet, it's just draining in. And then more importantly, there's no outlet. So the way that they've drained this pond is just by cutting the bank. And as you cut the bank, there is a pipe there, but it doesn't work. As you cut the bank, all the water flows down, but it doesn't really help us because you can't control what you need. And then the water gets drained through this gap and joins up down here, which is the stream. And then as I walk past Ahmed, and you'll see the other 2 ponds. So these are going to be eventually we'll use this to stock a different strain of tilapia, genetic strain that is. The reason for that is you don't want to have a lot of inbreeding. So we'll have a different strain here, and we can mix that in, keep the genetic health of our fish strong. And then this is one of the other ponds, and there's another one over there. So that's how the first challenge we've got is just time. We can't meet the demand for fingerlings in the district. People are pressing us. They're like, "Where are our fish?" And obviously, you want to keep your relationship going with your farmers. And then also just the costing as well. If we do it this way, we've got 3 ponds for practically nothing. They're not fantastic ponds, but we can use them. And then we can carry on. We can construct our own ponds at our leisure. We can budget accordingly and expand accordingly. So we've got 3 less ponds we need to start with, in a sense. So the plan is to grow, I think it's 8 ponds at the moment. We've got our plan that we've got a plan already, but we're just going to revisit it, make sure it's all up to date. So yeah, so that's the first challenge we've had, is just the demand, which is a good problem to have, but satisfying that. And then I'll show you why we're expanding when we go and have a look at our own site. And you can see the challenge right now. It's just capacity. So you can just about see 3 ponds there. We've got our breeding pond. So we put all the males and females in there. And then you store your males and females in those 2 ponds in the foreground. And that's just not enough capacity, basically. That's the issue. So when I was grabbing my coffee, when we are trying to sort out our fingerlings, you need to rest your males and females once they've bred, give them a month to rest and recuperate, but know where to put them. And then more importantly, where are we going to put our fingerlings? So the solution that we've got at the moment, which isn't perfect, is that we're actually using our production ponds, which I walk around, as a way of storing our fingerlings so we can breed them. So when they're in these happers over here, you can see them in the pond. So see the blue little cages, blue nets in the system, in the pond. That's where we're storing our fish at the moment. And it's not really ideal because that pond should be used for growing fish. Forced to use ponds like this, which are supposed to be for production. You're supposed to have fish in here that you're going to sell to the market. So we've got fingerlings in there. We've got about 500 in there for about a gram, 2 grams, and then we've got 500 in here of 10 grams, so we can sell these for a higher price. The farmer gets a better product because the fish are less likely to die because they've got reached a good weight. They've saved on time as well, and then we sell these, and then in the rest we've got we set them up so we've got breeding males and females. These are actually empty, so it shows you the problem we're having because we just can't meet the market demand for fingerlings. So we're working on that at the moment. So yeah, and you don't really, this is designed for production, yet we're having to resort to using it for fingerlings. And in these other ponds as well, we haven't stocked our own ponds because we don't have enough capacity at the moment. So yeah, that's the challenges that we've got with the hatchery. I'm just going to show you where the males and females are, and we'll finish the video. And to finish with, the last and biggest problem we have is we just don't have enough, the F1 generation at the right size. So we've got 120 females in here at the moment breeding and 30 odd males, because the ratio is about 3 to 1, males to females. Sorry, females to males is 3 to 1. So more females, less males, and then we've got any extra ones in here. But actually, some of the females are here probably too small. They can reproduce, but you get very few eggs from them, and we need to give them a chance to grow a bit bigger. But we were struggling with BSF and feed and all sorts of stuff. So I was just talking to some. This is a real problem for us because it's reducing how many fingerlings we can get out of the farm. So we're going to focus on essentially breeding the bigger ones, bigger females that is, and then leaving the smaller females, just leaving for like 3 months just to get the weight that they need. Because the challenge you've got is when you're breeding, normally what you do is you put your males and females in here for a month. They're separated, so females and males. And after a month, when you fed them well, you put them in here to breed for about 3-4 weeks. The challenge is, during that month where they're resting, they're not actually growing, they're not putting weight on, they're using the energy from the food to produce eggs. And then the eggs are very expensive and energy consuming activity. So then you put them back and they haven't had a chance to grow. They're just producing eggs. So let's rest them up, get them a bit bigger, I think. And then we'll be in a position where the fish that we have are big enough to produce lots of eggs, because the funny thing about fish is they just keep growing, they never stop growing. And the bigger they are, the more eggs they produce. So your older fish will produce a lot more eggs, they're bigger. But you need to rest them, make sure they've got the right weight to begin with. And then, I talked about the number of ponds, but we're fixing that one. So yeah, that's the problems, the teething problems that we're having as a business, trying to sort out our hatchery. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.